It's Wednesday night. It's June 14th, 2023. About a half hour after Dynamite went off the air. So you know what that means. A brand new episode of the Kicking Out Podcast. I'm Tanner Lee, the KOP Predictions Champion, as you can see over my left shoulder here. And with me is one of my two co-hosts, Austin Shepard. Paul can't join us tonight, so you're stuck with just us two. We apologize in advance. Shep, what's going on?
Paul no shows. He's scared.
He no shows.
He's scared. I think he's scared. He's down deep. He's scared.
He's already.
Truth.
He's already. He can't handle the truth.
He can't.
Can't handle the truth. He's already scared for a Forbidden Door for the pay-per-view predictions for that one next week, which that is going to be tough. I will be honest. But it's shaping up to be a really good card.
Yeah, I don't think it's as tough as you think it is. I think you overthink it. I super overthought it last year.
Yeah.
Like super overthought it. Like I got the fantasy booking in between my ears, took over, and it didn't work. It didn't work at all.
Yeah, but it's going to be a fun card. We'll get into it tonight. There were some more matches announced tonight, but I thought this was a fun Dynamite tonight. I thought it was a hot crowd in Washington, D.C. at the Capital One Arena, which that's where Dynamite began in October of 2019. A little less capacity tonight, even though they sold a majority of their tickets. I think the setup was around 6,000 or so. It wasn't for the full house like it was back in October 2019. But either way, good hot crowd tonight compared to some other weeks that they've had recently.
Yeah, I thought the crowd was great tonight.
Yeah.
A lot of good pops.
Really good. Well, Paul's not here to ask the question, Shep, so I guess that falls on me tonight. What are we drinking?
I'm not drinking.
Not drinking. Yeah, you got a smirk on your face there. That's a lie.
I'm eating. I got some pickles. I got the I'm
Pickles?
better than you pickles.
Ooh.
Now, I think as soon as I take a bite of one of these, I don't think we're gonna make the show. What do you call it? Explicit, right? You know.
Yeah. Right.
But these are the Kalen and Kalen pickles. MJF, I'm better than you, aka Classic Dills. All right, here we go.
Oh, a crutch.
That's such a good pickle.
He wasn't lying then.
That's such a good pickle. Now, if I say exactly what MJF said, we'd have an explicit rating for the week. And you know what? We like the kids. So,
Well, I'm sure we'll get there later at some point. Now, you got multiple flavors, right? Or did you just get the...
No.
Okay.
We did. So, these are the famous pickles. The ones that the infamous podcast, the
Media Scrum.
Media Scrum, that he made one of the media members play. So I really had thought, like, I wanted to eat one of these pickles. I wanted to give one to Paul since he's in town, and I say, "Hey, dipshit, can you eat a pickle?" I want Paul to think about a pickle and say, "What do you think, dipshit?" Yeah, go
that would be really good and explicit. There we are. It only took 4 minutes.
Anyway,
Hey, the pickles bring the best out of you.
but so you got these, you got some spicy spears, and then you got the honey mustard chips, which pickle chips, not potato chips.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they're called the MJF Championship chips, and I love dill pickles, so those pickles are amazing, by the way. But so I tried the honey mustard ones, and at first when you look at them, like, these are not appetizing. Holy cow! Like, so I had a couple sandwiches for lunch, and those chips made it on my sandwich. Yeah. They're amazing. So again, Kalen and Kalen pickles. I know they don't need any of our help selling out because you have to wait in line to get these stupid things.
They're worth it though. That's what I'm hearing. They're worth it.
Oh my God, they are so good. They give a pickle drop once a month. You have to get in the queue, and usually sold out within 15 minutes. I think I was within 5 to 8 minutes of when the MJF Pickles went down, and I waited a month and a half for him. So check them out. They're worth it. I love the media scrum that he did. I think it was a troll of what CM Punk did with that bakery in Chicago.
Mm-hmm.
I can't think of the lady's name. Amy's Bakery? Was it Amy's Bakery?
Yeah, let's look it up because I can't remember either.
I want to say Amy's Bakery, but I could be completely off.
Mindy's Bakery.
Mindy, Amy.
Yeah,
I get them confused all the time.
Close enough.
But no, yeah. What a great. I know we're going backwards. What a great press conference from MJF on that. What so entertaining. Had the devil horn coming out of his head. Which, if you, I don't know. I know this is a bad picture, but if you look, he's got the devil horn.
Yep.
Out. I mean, it's literally a picture of him slamming that pickle in the middle of it. So,
what's the rating? What's the rating on the pickles?
Oh, rating on the classic Dills?
Yes,
9.6.
9.6.
9.6.
It's pretty strong.
Maybe we'll have a rating. I have this spicy garlic spears that came with the MGF bundle, and then the honey mustard chips. So maybe down the road we'll have one of those. But because I don't joke around, right?
Right.
We're still having the Old Faithful.
Can of one.
We still have a sipper tonight. We're just going to start out with a little pickle, get a little base, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And maybe we won't feel so bad in the morning.
Well, I got a fun one tonight. I think you're going to appreciate this. Have you heard of Brew Dog Brewery in Ohio?
Brew Dog Brewery.
Yep.
No, I'm not big into the small breweries, but
okay.
If it's got a good story about it, I'm
You're still going to appreciate this. I picked these up a couple weeks ago. I only have one left. I enjoy them, but I picked them up just because I saw the can and the theme of the can. I'm like, I don't care what these taste like. I have to have them. I got some Bushwood beer, Caddyshack. And we even got the Bushwood Country Club and Be the Ball there on the side. And you got the Gopher from Caddyshack. So being a golf fan, I thought you'd appreciate that. And they're pretty good.
I do appreciate that. And
they're pretty good.
Not that, we get off subject at all. Who's your pick for the U.S. Open this week?
Well, I love my boy Ricky Fowler to finally come through. And I do think he'll play well. But my pick is actually would also be a first-time major winner. I'm picking Cameron Young this week.
You like Cameron Young?
I do.
I do like Ricky Fowler. I think his story from top down to bottom and clawing his way out of the hole is amazing. I think the guy's worked his tail off to get where he's at now. I would love for him to have a great week. Love for him.
And he's so cowboy too, so that would add on.
Love for him to top 10 for sure. Me, on the other hand, there's one guy that to me is sentimental just because I think he's gone through a bunch of BS of late, and that's Rory McIlroy. But I don't see him playing well.
I don't either.
I think there's too much stuff going on between the
too many distractions still. That's
too much stuff going on between the ears.
Yep.
So my pick this week is Patrick Cantlay. I know it's kind of a whatever, but I think he really prevails. I think he's so solid in the game of golf, so consistent. Now my dark horse, and I love the guy just because of the stupid documentary that we all watched, is Joel Damon. He'd
be a fun one, that's for sure.
That dude will be slamming White Claws before he gets the scorecard if the guy wins.
Yes, he will. Yes, he will.
And I know all you KOP listeners and AEW listeners are going, "What the hell are you two yakalopes talking about?" Sorry.
We got to go down a rabbit hole right away. It's U.S. Open week. It's Father's Day weekend. All that good stuff. But you were talking about the MJF Pickles. We saw MJF open the show tonight against Adam Cole in one of Paul's favorite title eliminator matches. But I got to say, I thought this match was a freaking classic as these two guys went to a time limit draw. 30-minute time limit draw, I should add.
I loved it. Now, when was the last time we kicked off Dynamite without Orange Cassidy? It's been, 6-7 weeks?
I think there was 1 week in there he didn't, but yeah, you're right. Usually Orange is right there.
So having Adam Cole's music hit was awesome. I love the match. Now, I DVR'd this because I was a little bit behind, but when they rang the bell, I stopped the DVR. I was at 36 minutes in. I know we had entrances.
Right.
I know we had openings.
Right. No, I was right there too. I think I looked at the clock and I thought it was, a little over the 30 minutes. So I was surprised when the bell rang, but I enjoyed everything about this match. Thought there was a lot of good in-ring psychology going on, a lot of athleticism, a lot of fun spots. I thought the ref bump with your guy Bryce Remsburg, I thought that was a fun spot. We saw we saw a tombstone on the apron. We saw a few.
What about the start of the match when MJF was mocking him? We had the Flair strut, and did you notice the little Val Venus? Yeah, because Val Venus has been in the little social media this week.
The guy's an idiot.
Yeah, so I don't know. I had no idea if that correlates, but I know Val Venus used to do that, and MJF doing that out of random.
All right. So. How about when MJF was tuning up the band and Adam Cole stuck his foot right in the side of his jaw and made him bleed a little bit in his mouth?
Yeah, that was a pill?
I thought it was too. I was like, yeah.
But the only reason, if you go back to that, after they about 10 seconds into it, they go back to MJF and he's wiping his mouth. If you notice, he takes his hand and he puts it between the apron and the ring curtain.
I did, yep.
And I don't know if he took that out and dropped it or whatever, but
right.
It was awful thick blood to come out with. At the end, you notice he didn't lose a tooth.
Yep.
So if he lost a tooth, I get it.
Right.
You could have that type of blood, but
right. Saw a table spot. I thought Adam Cole actually hurt his arm for real there when just the way his facial expression after MJF landed the elbow on him. I thought he was seriously hurt, but
they showed the spot enough.
Yeah, that's a good point.
They showed the spot enough where the way MJF landed was absolutely perfect because, yes, we thought, oh, man, he hit it hard. But if you looked, MJF nailed that spot.
Yeah, it was a lot of good stuff. MJF's so good at selling, too. And multiple times Adam Cole's going for the boom. We see MJF just fall over. I love the spot, the Eddie Guerrero spot, where MJF thought he was going to get one over on Adam Cole, throws the belt to Cole. Remsburger's there, but then Remsburger falls. So Cole takes advantage, hits him as the crowd's chanting at MJF. And I thought it was over there. They had me. I thought it was over. Then when MJF kicked out, I'm like, you got to be kidding me. And then Adam Cole does get the one-up as Remsburg stops MJF from using the diamond ring on Adam Cole. Adam Cole then hits Panama Sunrise, hits the boom, goes for the 3 count. We're in 2.5, and the bell rings. Perfectly done, in my opinion.
And did you notice the sign, Camera Hard 2.5?
2.5, yep.
2.5. And then before that, did you see Bryce struggle getting the ring out of his pocket?
Yes.
Okay. Other than that, what a great finish to this match. You couldn't have played it better. It's going to extend their storyline even through Forbidden Door, correct, right? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Even though we're going to get MJF somebody else at Forbidden Door, which was a great finish tonight. Mm-hmm. But yeah, what a great finish to the match. It extends the storyline. It does not hurt either participant. It actually makes them look stronger. Yeah.
I thought it was Adam Cole's best match to date so far in AEW.
Yeah. We haven't had a lot. This reminded me, and I don't want to sound like a mark, but this reminded me a lot of his pay-per-view match in NXT with Pat McAfee.
Mm-hmm.
There was a couple high spots, but yeah, both guys worked their tail off, and this was a pay-per-view quality match we got free, and the 8 o'clock hour.
Yep.
So
I think Tony knew he had to hit a home run right away. So they put these guys out to do it, and they delivered. Max might be a pain in the ass, but the guy delivers every time in the ring.
Do you think he's that big of a pain in the ass behind the scenes?
Not as much as everybody portrays him to be.
It's
I
just
think
his
they're just
character.
building up his character. But I think there is, a little bit. But how Dax talked about him on the podcast makes me think there is some there.
Yeah, but is he the type of guy that is going to be our future Ric Flair, where he doesn't know the difference between Richard Fleer and Ric Flair? We don't know the difference between MJF and he kayfabe.
Right.
The guy lives his gimmick.
Right.
So if he's going to go out to dinner tonight and the waitress makes a mistake, he's going to call her out and be an asshole.
Yep.
I don't know.
It's true. It's true.
You know what? He's maybe. I know that he's 26. Whatever.
Yeah, I think 26, 27, around there.
He's got a long way to go for me to be comparing him to Ric Flair, but he's on a really good path.
I mean, he's the one guy in professional wrestling right now, I think, that you could make that future comparison to.
Because he lives his gimmick.
Yep.
24/7. Yep. And by the time he gets to be 33, 34, maybe in his own mind, he doesn't know the difference.
Right.
What happened to Ric Flair?
And it should be noted, Adam Cole got on the microphone demanding 5 more minutes, but of course MJF opted to walk away.
Oh, and yeah, that was perfectly done.
Yeah, it was.
Laid the belt down right in front of him like he was going to do it, and then he just slithered out of it.
Snaky is.
Perfect.
Is. After that, we got a video package, but this was a good video package. It was hyping up CM Punk's return, coming into the debut of Collision on Saturday. But Punk spoke. First time we've heard from Punk since All Out, before the Brawl Out happened, and he pretty much admitted that he's still got scores to settle in AEW. Still matches to be had, and he's got a lot of things to get off his chest. So if Tony's smarty, not only is he in the main event Saturday, but he gives him the mic, I would open the show and have him do a promo.
He's got to. He's got to open the show. He's got to open Collision with that music.
Yep. So then they are pushing the heck out of it, as they should, but they are pushing the heck out of Collision. And we got more matches announced that we can talk about later for Collision. After that, we had Renee Paquette. She was in the ring, and she brings out Sammy Guevara. Sammy came out to a pretty good pop from the crowd. It seems like Sammy's starting to go that babyface route. The crowd's forgiving him for all the drama and everything he's been involved with the past few years. So they're kind of, Sammy's back on their good side. Tells people that he's having a baby girl, which they just found out the gender of the baby. So congratulations to him and Ty Mello. He said he's suffered a low by coming short of the winning the AEW title. However, the goal has been the same. He will have his baby in one arm, title in the other. Before that happens, he needs to make some changes here in AEW, and that leads to Darby Allin coming out. Finally, somebody's getting in Sammy's head, which I've been saying for a long time. He needs to get away from the JS, and that's what Darby pretty much is telling him. Get away from Chris Jericho. You don't need him. So then Jericho comes out. He's wanting Sammy to apologize. Sammy says he's not apologizing for shit. Jericho says they might as well reunite the sex gods next week so that Sammy can remember who his boss is. Darby then claims when Jericho steps in the ring, the magic is gone, even though he's a wizard. Jericho wonders if he and Guevara should beat the hell out of him. But he points out he's not alone. And Sting prepares to a huge pop. Loved the look on Jericho's face. Yeah, and Shivani was going nuts. The two men start pointing their bats at each other, and Sting eventually makes him back down. So that was pretty interesting. I mean, that was just old school WCW vibes there with Sting and Jericho.
So it was on social media 3-4 days ago.
Yep.
Jericho said this match will never happen.
Yeah, right.
And then Sting's been talking about a retirement match. Makes sense. I think it'll happen. And then we'll get into the match later. I thought Sting looked a little clumsy tonight. Guy's 60-some years old, man.
He can get away with it, and the crowd still loves him.
He can get away with it in a we had an 8-man tag, right?
Yeah, yep.
He can get away with an 8-man tag. Now, Jericho will have to be on his game to put that kind of match on.
Yep.
So let's. I'm gonna put a lot of faith in Jericho when those guys have that, and obviously it's gonna be his retirement match, and they're gonna advertise it at that. Obviously, maybe we'll get it here in August and
All in.
All In. So
Yep. I'm kind of right there with you. Even though I still got to see it to believe it, that Sting will be in a one-on-one match. Since we haven't seen it since he debuted in AEW in December 2020. We've seen him just in tags, trios, 8-man tags, etc.
then maybe they'll do a tag with him and Darby because he brought Darby along to Japan for the Great Muta.
Right.
It was a big deal. So
yeah. And I was starting to wonder at this point of the show, I'm like, okay, the show's been going great so far, but when do we get start getting the build to Forbidden Door? Because Forbidden Door is next Sunday. We're getting no new matches. Well, then Sonata, who's the IWGP champion, is shown in a pre-taped interview, said there will be an open challenge for the championship at Forbidden Door, and he's waiting for a reply from the AEW roster, which would get answered later in the show. Next match on the card tonight was the Mogul Embassy versus Sting, Darby Allin, Keith Lee, and Orange Cassidy. This was a fun 8-man tag. Like you said, there was definitely some clumsy spots. I couldn't figure out Brian Cage's Surfer Sting face paint since he's a heel. But
that's so sad.
But I don't know. Majin thinks Sting's last match will be against Darby. I've seen a lot of people say that.
A lot of people say that. I mean, I could see them leading up to that if they had a Darby Sting versus Jericho Guevara match. Maybe Garcia instead of Guevara in there, and Darby screws up, and then they have one last match. I don't know. I could see Sting also being the type of guy wanting to put Jericho over on his way out because of what Jericho has done, not only for AEW, but for professional wrestling. And his whole relationship with Darby was just, you're my protege. I brought you under my wing, and now it's your turn. I can see both ways, but I really don't want to see Sting and Darby because I don't think Sting could keep up with the pace that Darby normally brings.
Right. Not many can.
Yeah. Well, where Jericho's older, I'm not making fun of old guys because, I'm old too, but I could see a 50-some-year-old Jericho putting on a better match with a 60-some-year-old Sting than a 20-some-year-old or 30-some-year-old, young 30-some-year-old Darby.
That's fair.
That's fair. Opinion.
That's fair. Yeah, when Tony decides when the time is right for Sting's last match, like you said, it's going to be heavily advertised, heavily promoted. It's going to be a really big deal, as it should. One of the greatest of all time. Back to this 8-man tag, fun little match. I think we all knew who was going to go over, and in the end, that was Sting, Darby, Orange Cassidy, and Keith Lee, as Sting got the pinfall after Orange Cassidy hit an orange punch on Brian Cage, which that was not a good camera angle for that orange punch. And then Sting hit the Scorpion Death Drop for the 1, 2, 3.
It was an okay match.
Yeah. I was really actually more impressed with some of the Mogul Embassy guys.
I think the Embassy's a really good tag team. I don't like them with Brian Cage. Maybe it's because I'm not a Brian Cage fan.
What do you think of Keith Lee's performance tonight? I thought he got a ton of offense in.
He did. Again, I was big on Keith Lee when he first came, and then I'm just not a big fan of how they've handled him.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't mind him with Swerve.
No, they were a good team, but I understand why they broke him up.
And I don't know why. And nothing against Dustin Rhodes. I'm a huge Rhodes family fan, but I don't see Dustin and Keith Lee
just kind of threw them together,
making a run for the tag team title.
I don't either. Nope.
So
I could maybe see them doing something in ROH, but I don't even know if they'll do that.
Yeah.
I don't know. Speaking of tag teams, next we saw highlights of the Guns helping out Juice Robinson and Ricky Starks last week. Or not Ricky's. Helping out, not Juice, Jay White against Ricky Starks last week. And they're shown backstage, and they call it the Hardys for a match next week on Dynamite to see who the best team of brothers is. That'll be a fun little match.
Yeah. I like this build. I'd like to see the Hardys really, really put on a good match with these late 20-something-year-olds. I think that would really prove to the fact that the Hardys maybe have 1 or 2 years left in them and can have a decent little run. I think as long as those two are healthy, us as the wrestling community, we deserve that. They deserve that, to give those guys one more run.
Go ahead. Sorry.
As many hurdles as they've had to overcome. Jeff more than Matt, but still, they're a team. So yeah, I'm okay with one more run for the next year and a half.
Majin saying he didn't know how bad he needed to see the Ass Boys juke until he was given it. They are something. They are entertaining.
They are. They are a cocky little.
They're a perfect heel team.
Heads that I thought their little interview or little vignette with Renee, even making fun of Renee's hair tonight, was absolutely perfect for them. It was short and sweet.
Every time I see somebody even doing a shoot rib at Renee, I'm thinking, man, Mox is back there somewhere. Like, watch yourselves, every time. Like a few weeks ago when MJF smacked that mic out of her hand, I'm like, man, don't want to make Mox mad.
Yeah.
But Sean Ross Sapp had an amazing tweet tonight. He said the Hardy Boys wrestled the Smoking Guns on WWF Superstars in June of '96 for the WWF Tag Team Championships. They faced Austin and Colton Gunn on AEW TV in June 2023. It's pretty crazy when you think about it. Pretty crazy. Well, we saw the TNT Championship defended tonight. Wardlow against Jake Hager was the rubber match. The third time these guys have got together. I'm a big Wardlow guy, but this match didn't do a ton for me. I'm not a big Jake Hager guy, though. So we did see Brock Anderson and Arn Anderson come down and take care of 2.0. So nobody was by Wardlow's side. So Hager was taking advantage. With a little dirty work, he attempted for his splash in the corner, but it was countered with a kick in the face. Wardlow then clotheslined him over the top rope, launched himself over the top onto Hager, followed up with a senton inside the ring, then followed up with a powerbomb symphony for the 1, 2, 3. Then afterwards, we saw Christian and Luchasaurus shown on the screen, even though their audio wasn't working for a little bit. Thought Wardlow did a good job of playing it off with the crowd, doing the hand motion that all Christian does is talk. Christian then asks what happens when Wardlow's new daddy isn't there to save him, as Arn Anderson shown all bloody and beaten up, sitting on the stairs. So somebody put the Glock to Arn Anderson this week before Arn could put the Glock to somebody else.
Which you kind of saw that coming
Right.
a little bit.
Yep.
Yeah, I could care less about the match Wardlow and Hager had tonight. Obviously, I think we're going to eventually get Warlord and Jungle Douche.
It's Saturday. Collision.
Yeah.
Luchasaurus and Wardlow for the TNT title Saturday.
And I don't want to sound Jim Cornette, but Jungle Boy and Luchasaurus worked as a tag team.
Right.
Him on his own, I don't know if I like it.
I haven't seen enough of it to really make an opinion, but I don't want him holding a title. I can tell you that much.
He can't talk. He never,
Right.
Jungle Boy was talking back then, and obviously Christian's talking now. So he can't talk. So
yeah.
I don't think the title's changing hands.
I hope not, because I want to see Wardlow have a decently lengthy run, because like you've mentioned many times on this podcast, all they've done with the TNT title this past year is hot potato it.
Yeah.
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 I think it's a good storyline right now, but the right thing to do is keep the title on Warlord and move on.
Yep. We then saw Ace Hiroshi Tanahashi shown in a pre-tape challenging MJF at Forbidden Door. MJF then hears the news from Renee and says no. And as far as Tony Khan booking him, this wouldn't be the first time he no-showed, as he tells Tanahashi, no can do, bud. But Tony did list to him as that match is made official for Forbidden Door. So Hiroshi Tanahashi, MJF for the AEW World Heavyweight Championship.
What a great segment, though.
Yep.
He's backstage. He's holding the belt. He's getting ice. And here comes Renee, and she tells him, he's like, I ain't doing that. Sorry, bud. Bye-bye. Even though we know it's going to happen at the point, he does such a great job. I'm pretty excited for this match, actually.
Oh, yeah.
You talk about a couple. I know we're going to get some dream matches. We've never seen this match before. We're not going to see it rerun in 2 Wednesdays after Forbidden Door.
Nope.
So this match made me happy. Mm-hmm. 2 other matches that have been announced that made me happy. 3rd match made me scratch my head. And I think we'll get to that.
Next, we saw Orange Cassidy shown backstage, and Zack Sabre Jr. turns up. Big pop from the crowd for Sabre Jr. being on television. He's challenging him, which I kind of predicted on last week's podcast. And then Daniel Garcia appears, and he wants to face Shibata. Cassidy sets up a tag team match between them all for next week. I can get on board with that.
I think that'll be great. Zack Sabre Jr. works all over the place. And then Shibata's he's the pure champion, right?
Yep.
So love that. Shibata and then Sabre Jr. loves that pure style. Old school style, I guess you call it. So, yeah, that'd be a very exciting match.
Well, Orange and Will Ospreay stole the show at Forbidden Door last year. I think Sabre Jr. and Orange could do so again this year.
I think it'll take a different side of Orange to do.
Sure, and I think he's got it. I think he's that good in the ring.
I would love to see the technical side of Orange with I'm going to call it a sarcastic attitude.
Little humor.
Yeah. Reverses a hold on Sabre Jr. and slides his hand in his pocket like, what do you got, bro? Mm-hmm. Like, I want that arrogance. I think arrogance is the great word. Mm-hmm. The FU attitude type deal. I don't care. I'm coming from wherever, whenever, weighing whatever. You know what I mean? If he can technical wrestle and then tie that into that match, again, Pockets is making me a fan, man.
I saw it was an interesting comparison. It was one of those where if people didn't listen to the podcast, they were going to freak out. And I believe it was the Matt Hardy, Extreme Life with Matt Hardy. John Alba and Matt Hardy were comparing how Tony Khan uses Orange Cassidy compared to how Vince at one time used The Undertaker as kind of the go-to guy whenever they needed somebody to deliver with a match.
That's a really, really far comparison, but if you say it on the back end, if Vince needed a go-to guy, he's going to turn to Taker. If Tony needs a guy to leave off Dynamite and put on a banger,
exactly.
Yeah. At first when you think about it, you're like, no way in hell, but
right,
it can mesh.
Right,
it can mesh.
Right. We then got the lone women's match of the night tonight. Toni Storm versus Sky Blue, who's the surprising winner out of that 4-way match on Rampage. You had Mercedes Martinez, Britt Baker, and Nyla Rose. And I think Sky Blue was the last one I expected to win. But here she is. So she was taking on Toni Storm tonight for the AEW Women's World Championship, and she held her own That's for sure. Looked like she was going to have the match won at one point, but Ruby Soho distracted the referee. We saw spray paint used. We saw Sky Blue's mom get spray paint tonight. In the end, we saw the Texas Cloverleaf get locked in, and Tony Storm made Sky Blue tap out. But I thought it was a good match. Sky Blue is one of those young females that's getting better and better every time she gets a chance.
It was an okay women's match. I was okay with it. They gave Sky Blue they gave her that little bit of an edge, like, oh man, she could pull this off, and they snatched it back from you.
Yep.
So
yep.
Storytelling was good here.
And
match was good. So yeah.
And after the match, we got a run in from Willow, sprinting down to help even the numbers with Saraya not there tonight. So on Collision, we're getting Ruby and Tony versus Sky Blue and Willow Nightingale. So there's your Collision women's match for Saturday.
Which I'm okay with.
That works. We didn't see Jungle Hook backstage, and Jungle Boy Jack Perry, as they're officially calling him now, reveals he feels naked without a title, so he's accepting Sonata's open challenge for the IWGP World Championship. Said to mean the world to him if Hook would be in his quarter. Hook gives him knuckles. But did you notice he cut Hook off before Hook could say a word? And this is all, to me, leading up to, it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when Jack Perry turns heel and turns against Hook.
Yeah. And this is the one announcement, and nothing against Jungle Boy, okay?
As Majin said, Jungle Boy versus Sonata, he's deflated for that, and he says Jungle Boy has no character.
Yeah. If you're going to put somebody against the IWGP champion, and I know Jungle Boy is a rising young talent, I mean, we're getting MJF and Tanahashi.
Mm-hmm.
We got Sonata, who is the IWGP champion. Like, we gotta have somebody bigger than Jungle Boy to challenge that. I'm sorry, nothing against the kid. I think he's got a bunch of potential, but it's the wrong pick. It's the wrong move for sure.
It was kind of confusing because, earlier in the night, you could kind of see what the company's thinking of Darby and Sammy right now, big programs and everything. You're like, where's that leave Jack? Then they're throwing Jack into this title picture. It was just very random. I don't know. I'm ready for him to turn heel. I think he needs that.
He does. I mean, you could have, there's so many people you could have above Jungle Boy challenge for one of the top 3 heavyweight champions of all time. And I'm not even including AEW into that. WWF, NWA, IWGP. I mean, they've been around that long, right? There's a lot of guys that could have challenged Sonata over Jungle Boy.
Imagine said he'd rather see Sammy versus Sonata instead of Jungle Boy.
And again, I'm gonna put Sammy in the same category as Jungle Boy. It's the IWGP Championship. It's been around for 100 years. Like, no, I know Mox is going to be occupied, but I don't know, man.
Who was it last year? Oh, it was Jay White defended against Adam Cole, Hangman, and Okada.
Yeah,
last year. Yeah,
again, I know those guys are occupied, but
are you surprised we haven't seen Okada yet?
Yeah, a little bit, but we'll see him.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
We'll see him, but I don't know. Again, maybe those two guys will put on a great match, and I'll eat some crow. But on paper, I'm not excited about it.
Oh, it's the least exciting match announced so far for me. So,
yeah, the first 3 are kind of like dream matches, excluding the Omega Ospreay match, which we've already seen. But
It's
we're gonna get
just-
it again, and it's gonna be a banger.
Yeah,
just like the last
can
time.
they top it? Can they top what they did last time? That's everybody's expectations are gonna be so high.
If they top what they did last time, then both of them are have to go out in wheelchairs.
Match of the year. The first one, you can argue is match of the year. So, correct me if I'm wrong, but we didn't see any Rampage announcements tonight, right? I know we got Collision announcements, but did we see Rampage?
I thought they said something towards the
Did
end.
they? Okay.
Yeah. They said Rampage at its normal time, but I don't know if they announced any matches.
I didn't think I saw any, but I could have just been blanking out. But I know Collision, we got the women's tag match. We went over Tony and Ruby Soho versus Will Nightingale and Sky Blue. Of course, we got the main event, FTR and CM Punk versus Bullet Club Gold and Samoa Joe. We get the return of Miro tonight, which will be fun. Or not tonight, Saturday night, which will be fun. And we get Buddy Matthews, the House of Black's Buddy Matthews, one-on-one with Andrade El Idolo, returning Andrade, which will be interesting. Kind of putting him as a face. That's interesting, I thought. Am I missing any matches? I think I got them all.
I think it's all that's been announced.
Okay. So, yeah, I'm anxious to see what Collision is. We don't even know what it is going to be as a show yet, really.
It's a 2-hour show, right?
It is a 2-hour, 8 o'clock to 10 o'clock on TNT. We know it's going to be the CM Punk show, but what else? What's the presentation going to be like? What's, it's got to find a way to differ from Dynamite. If they're just going to make it just like Dynamite, I don't think it's going to work.
I don't know if you had the champions floating both episodes.
Oh, and Wardlow Luchasaurus. Excuse me, that's the other one I was missing. Yep.
If you float the champions both episodes, where I don't know if a champion could have two storylines going on at once.
Well, Tony Khan was on Wrestling with Brandon Walker of Barstool this week, and he didn't commit to a official brand split or anything like that. He said you'll see a lot of talents flow back and forth with stories and in the like of that. So we'll see.
Well, you already got the brand split between AEW and ROH.
Right.
But they still mesh all the time together.
Right.
So,
right.
I almost think it's going to be it's got to be a Dynamite-ish show with just different talent. You're talking about CM Punk and FTR right off the bat.
Right.
It's got to be just as much, if not more, than Dynamite being on a Saturday night at 8 o'clock, which I think is more of and I don't know anything about cable television, but 8 o'clock on a Saturday, 8 o'clock on a Wednesday, I think the ad spots are going to be a little bit more expensive on a Saturday.
I would think so. I'm not sure on that, but I do know that's a tougher spot, especially come fall when football's going on. They could do well on Saturday during summer, but fall we'll see. And I'm interested to see what the ratings are going to be like, because I think it'll be good this Saturday no matter what, just because all the mystique, CM Punk's return, the first debut show, Chicago United Center, blah, blah, blah. But how's it going to do not only in Canada the following weeks, but week 7, week 8 down the road? That's going to be really telling. But, I don't know if
one of the hater sites have already talked about they've struggled selling tickets in Canada for this show already.
They have, and maybe, and to be honest, I think they priced themselves out of the market a little bit. I've heard the prices for the show's pretty high, and if you've already bought tickets for Dynamite and Rampage, that's expensive to add on Collision then too. So they got to be careful not to oversaturate the market. They got to start doing Collision in markets they don't get to very often.
Well, tickets for Dynamite are pretty reasonable, especially when they come in our area. So,
Right. So
you can sit on the floor pretty close to the ring for under $100.
Right. So we'll see. I think they'll find their footing. Might just take a little bit, but I'm interested. I think it can be a really good thing. They got plenty of talent to showcase, so another 2 hours to do it. We then got the main event tonight. We got the Hun Bucks, Adam Page and the Young Bucks versus the Blackpool Combat Club, made up tonight of Claudio Castagnoli, Wheeler Yuta, and John Moxley. This was a fun match. We knew we were going to get an intense match, and that's what we got. They started brawling right away. We saw Hangman and Mox get face-to-face, throwing some shots. Back and forth all over the place. Carnage at times. I like the Young Bucks gear tonight with Hangman, by the way, a little Western look. In the end, we saw Wheeler Yuta get launched to Matt Jackson, but brings the knees up, and the super kick party then commences as the BTE trigger and a buckshot lariat are hit on Yuta, while the Young Bucks dive outside to Moxley and Claudio, and Hangman picks up the 1, 2, 3. So Yuta's been picking up the big pinfalls, then he gets pinned tonight. So the Elite were victorious, like I predicted last week. You and Paul predicted BCC. But after the match, BCC starts attacking the Elite, and a returning Eddie Kingston comes out. Didn't see that happening. He immediately attacks Claudio. Love that, keeping the ROH rivalry and the hatred those guys have had for each other for a long time going. They're brawling on the inside. Kingston comes out on top. He then turns around face to face John Moxley, but they don't want to fight each other, which I like that too. And Matt Jackson attacks Moxley instead, but Kingston stops it. Then Moxley fires up against him. While they argue, then we see Takeshita turn up, and he's getting booed real loud by the crowd. He drops Kingston, and then Kenny Omega comes out to a huge pop. He and Takeshita brawl inside the arena. Omega gets the best situation, but then at the very end, Will Ospreay appears and catches Omega with a kick to the face and a running forearm strike. As Bryan Danielson couldn't be more happy.
A lot going on.
There was a ton. And my fiance was watching with me at the end. She goes, "What is going on?" I said, "It's kind of carnage. There's so much action. It's kind of overwhelming." And AEW's been known to do that towards the end of shows with tons of run-ins. But when we're getting ready for Forbidden Door, which you have different promotions, a lot of different talent, I thought it was pretty good.
The match itself was good. It was a match, like you said. It was your typical triple threat match. There was stuff going on everywhere. So the match itself was okay. I was shocked we didn't get any blood from Mox.
No, well, that's the first time in forever.
I mean, holy cow! But other than that, the match was good. The end was even better. We had Kadesh coming in. Love that. Love the run-in stuff. And then obviously with Ospreay coming in, like, man, just can't imagine how him and Omega are going to try to top their last match. I don't get it. I don't see how it's going to happen, but they're going to try. They're going to try their damnedest. You know that.
And I'm real interested to see who you and Paul are going to predict for that one next week when we make our predictions for Forbidden Door.
I already got mine picked for sure.
It's I can't wait to watch. It's gonna be real good because I didn't watch that match live at Wrestle Kingdom. Saw the replay and the highlights, but
I was the dumbass that got up at 3:30 or 4 o'clock in the morning.
You're one of many.
Yeah, and I remember I came downstairs and there was this pile of laundry in front of the television. I'm like, what the hell is this? And I told my wife the night before, like, I'm getting up at 4 o'clock. I'll try to be quiet, not wake you up, and I'll wake the kids up.
Yeah.
But I'm going to watch this wrestling event out of Japan. And I came down to this mound of laundry in front of the television. She's like, if you're going to watch this at 4 a.m., you're going to fold clothes.
She's no dummy.
So I literally folded clothes and watched from 4 a.m. to, I think, 7. And one of them was the Omega Ospreay match. The other one was the FTR match when they lost the tag titles, IWGP tag titles, before I actually had to go to work because it was on we do that on a Wednesday, Thursday?
Yeah, Wednesday, Thursday, or Tuesday, Wednesday?
Tuesday, Wednesday.
Yeah.
So it's odd.
Yeah.
But, it's right after the New Year. So however the New Year falls, it's like a day or two afterwards, but whatever. So, yeah. maybe, hopefully, the 25th of June at 8 o'clock, I come down to watch the pay-per-view, and there's not a pound of laundry has to fold, but
You never know.
you never know.
You never know. But, man, fun show tonight. Gearing up for a fun pay-per-view. I mean, Forbidden Door 2 so far is looking like it's going to try to be a pay-per-view of the year. I know it gets a guy like you fired up who really likes New Japan and AEW together. What do you grade tonight's show at?
I enjoyed tonight's show. Couple small spots I didn't care for, but other than that, overall, with the opening match, the ending match, really liked it. I'm going 7.9.
Oh, I thought you were gonna get in the 8s. I really did tonight. I really did.
If I didn't have the Warlord match,
Yeah.
it was probably there.
I'm going 8.6. I'm pretty high on tonight. I thought it was arguably maybe Dynamite of the Year. I'm sure I've already given something a higher grade. I think I went 8.8 one week, but I really enjoyed it. I thought the 2 hours flew by tonight. Got me even more excited for next Sunday's pay-per-view. Got me even more excited for Collision Saturday, even though I was already pumped about that. But getting a full card is good. Who's your wrestler tonight?
Man. And I think I know who yours is. I'm going opposite. My wrestler tonight is MJF.
You do know who mine is. Adam Cole, baby. Yep. Those guys tore it down tonight.
So if you notice, when he came down to the ring, MJF, that is, his banner at the bottom, 2023, he's 3-0.
Yep.
Tanner, it's June
I know.
12th. The guy is so over. He's wrestled 3 times in 6 months. Okay? And now 4 times in 6 months. And he's the world champion. He's on a more limited schedule than Roman Reigns.
He really is.
Now does he appear every week and talk on the mic? Yeah. But if you look at actual wrestling, he's wrestled less than Roman Reigns.
And along those lines, I know this is Stanford, but this was incredible. I read this on Twitter last night. Rhea Ripley, since she's become champion, has had 11 minutes of singles in ring time.
Yeah, that's stupid.
Yeah, it's very stupid. Come
stupid.
on.
By the way, what about this? This is a rabbit hole of all rabbit holes. What about a dream match? Rhea Ripley versus Tessa Blanchard.
That would be a good one as far as in ring goes.
In ring goes, physiques, attitudes, capabilities, talent, whatever you want to call it. I saw some stuff about Tessa Blanchard the other day, and I think we've talked about her a couple times.
Mm-hmm.
But the girl can go.
Oh, she can go. She just screws up her career every time she opens up her mouth.
Yeah, her mouth gets in the way a lot, but put that aside. Could you imagine a Rhea Ripley Tessa Blanchard match? That could overshadow 80%, maybe 90% of the men's matches in WWE.
There's a lot of talented female wrestlers out there right now.
There is, and we just need to...
Every company.
And I would hate to say it, AEW's towards the end of that company, though.
Yeah.
When it comes to female talent.
They got a lot of depth, but they got to start getting more out of the women.
Yes. I'm not dogging on the talent. I'm dogging on the creative, I guess.
Yeah, and that's the good thing about Collision. Even though they'll probably only have one match, at least they get another match every week, the division itself. So, yeah. But I'm going back to the wrestler, and I am going Adam Cole. I thought it was his best performance since he joined AEW in September of 21. So, yeah, I thought he was really good. One other note of AEW tonight, Sean Ross Sapp reported today that Discussions are still going on with Hangman, Kenny Omega, and the Young Bucks with AEW for their contracts. Agent Barry Bloom is the agent of all those guys. He's a big sports agent, and really good agent. Big in professional wrestling world too. It sounds like they're close. But those people have said they could be close. They could be close for months. They could have been close for months. So the belief is, when it's said and done, they will all still be with AEW at the year's end.
Contract ends at the end of the year.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I mean, WWE's interested, of course, but they can't do any contract tampering right now.
No,
and Sean said the belief within WWE is that they'll be back with AEW.
Well, if you watched the last two Being the Elite on Mondays,
yeah, they're teasing stuff. So I mean
they're talking about the money the Bucks are, at least.
They're doing what Cody did in 2018 on BTE.
Yeah. Well, the one is it Nick Jackson, right? Who's in the suit?
Matt's in the suit. Yep.
He's building a hell of a pool right now.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And he's incorporating that. I love that. I love the realism. Like, look.
Well, that's one thing Sean said. Is presuming they do come back to AEW, there's going to be significant money increases for all of them.
Yeah.
I mean, it's, Tony's in a tough spot. He's trying to make everybody happy, keep these guys happy while bringing CM Punk back. But that's why you got 2 shows now. And I'm just interested when they all have to be at a pay-per-view. How's that going to work? But they'll figure it out. Maybe down the road we can get them all to do business, but I still think that's a ways away.
In August.
Well, I'll be doing 2 shots and buying new wrestling shirt if that happens.
Yes.
So
2 shots of Everclear.
Oh, God. That brings back some memories. It's been about a decade since I did an Everclear shot, but yeah.
Well,
I can feel the burn right now just thinking about it.
Your wife can't blame me for it.
I got a good one, at least one, if not both of them, of a good alcohol for you if I'm fortunate enough to win that. So, but we will see come August. Any other AEW topics you want to discuss before we move on to our weekly Cody Rhodes segment?
No, I'm good there. I'm excited to talk about Cody.
All right, well, let's cue up the audio.
So, what do you guys want to talk about? Every time.
Cody actually kicked off Raw this week, or helped kick off Raw this week. Calls out Dominik. Rhea got the new championship, which looks just like Seth's, which I don't know. These championships aren't the greatest looking things in the world, but
go back to old school, man.
Yeah, I know. I know it gets crapped on a lot, but I still like that. I got a replica over here of it, the Attitude Era. That's what I grew up with. I like that belt. I know a lot of people like the Wing Eagle before that one as their favorite design, but I don't know. These new designs, I get why they do it from a branding standpoint, the big logo, because when the Chiefs, even though I hate their guts, when you saw them win the Super Bowl, Mahomes was carrying it all over. I'm sure Jokic will have one on his shoulder tomorrow. And WWE does a good job of getting the champions belts. So I'm sure the Golden Knights of the NHL will have them. I get why they do the big W branding on them, but they're not the greatest looking belts in my opinion. But anyways, so we got Dominik and Cody coming out. Cody challenges Dominik to a match in Money in the Bank. And then, which he was already going to face The Miz later that night. Later momentarily. That's why he was already dressed up like he was in his Highlander type gear. But Miz tries to sneak attack Cody, but Cody catches him, punches him. But then Dom sucker punches Cody and runs away. So, what do you think about the Dom Cody match at Money in the Bank coming up in a couple weeks? What do you think about Cody not being in? Yes, I knew right when I said Homelander, Majin corrected me. I knew right when I said it, it was not right. Homelander, thank you. What do you think? I was still surprised that he wasn't in a Money in the Bank qualifier match.
I think it's perfect if they're going because they're going with Brock Cody 3 at SummerSlam. Yeah, Martin McSorley's a badass. He's in Vegas partying it up right now.
Yeah.
Anyways, I think it's a good filler for Cody because Dominik is. Let's just face it. Dominik's over right now because whether the crowd cheers you or overly boos you, you're over, right?
Mm-hmm.
If that kid puts a mic in his hand, they boo so loud where you can't hear him. They don't want him to talk. So in my mind, he's over. He's doing his job. So I think this is a great opponent for Cody to go in and have a 15 to 20 minute match and obviously go over Dominik and just propels Cody to the next level. Next level being obviously SummerSlam and Brock. Number 3. So if that's the case, we're going to go the Cody storyline here. We're going to finish the story, right? So you would think he goes over Brock's SummerSlam. So you have Survivor Series, Royal Rumble.
Your 2 big ones, yes.
Your 2 big ones before WrestleMania in 2024.
Mm-hmm.
So what the hell do you do with Cody and Roman for almost 6 months, right? 6 to 7 months. And to try to keep that momentum with Cody is going to be tough.
It is.
Now, Cody going over Dominik here in a 20-minute match where they couple false finishes and really showed Dominik being athletic and young and giving Cody a run for his money. Yeah, that'll work for now. And then SummerSlam is going to work for now because Brock is Brock, and it's going to be a banger of a match. But after that, what the heck do you do?
Could you see Brock costing Cody the match against Dominik? Setting up for... I mean, that way, Dominik gets the rub as a big win over arguably the company's biggest babyface, but it doesn't hurt Cody because he didn't lose clean.
I don't know, man. You had Cody lose clean at WrestleMania.
Yep.
You can't have him.
And he did lose clean to Brock the second time, even though he didn't tap, but he passed out.
Yeah, you got to be careful there.
I know.
Got to be careful.
I know. They got a challenge on their hands. I mean, I'm still waiting to let it play out to see if they made the right decision of having him not go over at 39, which I still think they should have had him go over at 39. But
well, they internally, it was not their right thing to do. Okay?
Yeah.
But if you talked about the crowd and the fans watching on television, I mean, 95% of those people thought Cody was going to win that match.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And when he didn't, we were all like, holy cow, what's next? So,
all right, so we know we're going to get Cody and Brock 3 at SummerSlam. So where does that leave Roman? Is it going to be Jay? Jay going to challenge him?
Yeah, I think you have some internal bloodline stuff, which is fine.
Mm-hmm.
Bloodline still has some
good layers. Still good layers to it. Mm-hmm.
So Bloodline has many storylines still to go. They have many options to go. So we still have plenty of work to do for Roman. And if I would guess, I mean, future predicting, we're not going to get Cody and Roman until next year in WrestleMania. And if it's a 2-day show where they want The Rock to be involved, then we get Cody Roman the first night, he loses, and then the second night he goes against The Rock and goes over. Rock puts him over.
Could be.
So that way you don't bury Roman too bad.
I think you're right. I also agree. I think we get Roman and Cody 2 at WrestleMania 40 in Philly. Just how do we get there? That's going to be an interesting part.
How do you get there?
Yep.
Yeah.
I'm sure they got it laid out, but it's going to be interesting. Especially, say, if a guy like McIntyre doesn't come back.
Yeah.
I don't know, the bigger talents you keep away. I mean, 'cause I would hate to see Cody somehow challenge Seth before he gets to challenge Roman again.
I kind of like what they're doing right now with Seth with the open challenge.
Yep.
I think Seth Braun Breaker's not a bad gig.
Yeah, it's interesting.
So yeah, there's plenty of talent within Stamford, Connecticut that could occupy Roman's or not Roman, Seth.
Seth. Yeah.
Yeah.
So we will see. It'll be interesting. Yeah.
Other than that, the rest of the shit sucks.
I didn't even watch the rest of Monday. I watched that first
I
segment.
didn't
Like,
either.
oh, all right. His promo's already done, and his match against Miz, he got the win. Okay, I don't have to watch it anymore.
Yeah.
So I can keep up with it on Twitter and the dirt sheets and all that good stuff. So anything else around just AEW, WWE, the world of professional wrestling you wanna hit on?
I know. I think I text you and Paul. So we got a match coming up in GCW.
Yeah.
It's Zack Sabre Jr. versus Nick Gage. I cannot wrap my head around this match.
I do think Nick Gage is a better wrestler than people give him credit for, but I'm really intrigued just how they're going to pull this off.
I'm really intrigued at how they're going. GCW is the type where you could have a techno wrestling match, and at the end you end the match with tables and light tubes, right?
Right.
Or you could just have a technical match, or you could have a death style match, as they call them. I don't see Sabre Jr. saying, "Hey man, let's finish with you hitting me over the head with a couple light tubes." I don't see that. So yeah, I'm kind of intrigued. I really am. And then coming out of this here, we got another month, I think. Nick Wayne from GCW is going to make his AEW debut.
Yeah, right when he turns 18
on Dynamite, when he turns 18 against Sword
for the Defy Championship.
So,
and Sean Ross Sapp was saying they have plans for Nick Wayne. They've been in store for a while, just waiting for him to turn 18. So.
Which he's in a banger of a tag team right now in GCW. I think it's called the Wasted Youth. Is that right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And those guys have just been awesome. So,
but you got to think AEW and GCW haven't been playing very friendly lately. So his GCW days might be over when he gets to AEW.
Yeah, but you look at like Jordan Oliver. Jordan Oliver's been rocking ROH of late. And
That's true.
Still makes all the GCW dates.
That's true.
I mean, I don't know. We were maybe they were having differences over how they use John Moxley, which is a main event guy, where Jordan Oliver, Nick Wayne have to work their way up there yet. But so I mean, we got Gringo Loco doing a lot of ROH stuff, which I love that dude.
Well, and speaking of ROH, I don't think we've hit on this. Stokely Hathaway and Jerry Lynn are the two guys ahead of ROH now.
Screw Stokely Hathaway. Jerry Lynn's a great mind.
Yeah.
Stokely Hathaway's a piece of shit.
He's doing his job. To get you to say that?
He
doing
is.
his job.
And behind the scenes, he might know what the hell he's talking about. I still don't like the guy.
Well, Tony keeps adding more and more people. It was announced tonight that Jimmy Jacobs, a longtime Impact guy, was backstage tonight. He's been signed to AEW, and they think he's going to help with creative along with Danielson for Collision.
Well, they lost a jackalope this week too.
Idiot. Yeah, idiot.
He's been there for He's been there 2 years.
Yeah, producer. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But obviously he's an idiot. So cost him his job. So They need some room for some new guys.
Yep, some new ideas, fresh
And
ideas.
I love that they made or the dirt sheets, internet, whatever you want to call them. That Danielson has had a lot of input in the creative.
Majin said he's met him. He's a great mind. I'm assuming you're talking about Stokely. Correct me if I'm wrong there.
Boo if you met Stokely.
I'm glad we're talking about Collision again because I did have a question I wanted to ask you earlier and I completely forgot. So if you remember back in October of 2019, the debut of Dynamite, which was in tonight's arena, the Capital One in Washington, D.C., we got a crazy finish that had the Elite getting attacked by this new group that formed called the Inner Circle. Guevara, Hager, Santana, Ortiz, Jericho. And that... Oh, he meant Jimmy Jacobs.
Oh, okay. I can't argue that one.
No, me neither. But that originally, Tony Khan's original plan was for that to be Gallows, Anderson, and AJ Styles. It just didn't come to fruition. Instead of the Inner Circle. And kind of have his own Bullet Club. What kind of cliffhanger, what kind of big surprise are we going to get in Collision? Because there's got to be something, doesn't there? Being a hyped up debut episode. I mean, I know you got Punk and FTR. It's a big deal, but are we going to get some kind of big swerve at the end or some surprise debut or return?
Well, if you're talking about the Bullet Club, do you have some Bullet Club members show up and cost FTR and Punk the match?
I want to see Bullet Club Gold versus Bullet Club at Forbidden Door.
Okay.
Because they got beef with Jay.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess what I'm asking is, do we see Samoa Joe join Bullet Club Gold? Could Punk turn heel on FTR and become the leader of Bullet Club Gold?
Where's the Good Brothers in all this?
They're WWE.
Are they even on TV and stuff anymore?
Not much, but they're under contract for a while, so they can't do anything. Poor bastards. They keep falling for that trick.
Yeah, I don't know.
I just feel like we're going to get something big towards it after that main event. I just don't know what it's going to be.
I don't see Punk turn on FTR yet. FTR being the sole ally through this whole rigmarole.
That's what would make it more shocking, though.
So but you can't have him turn. You can't have Punk turn heel right away
In Chicago.
Nah, I don't think so.
Yeah.
No. I mean, if anything out of this, if you want to go shocking, you have Dax turn on both of them and be a singles wrestler.
That would be shocking because they're the tag champions.
Yeah, I know. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. Well, you got to think the guns might get involved too, maybe. I don't know. I just feel like something big's got to happen. I'm hopeful, at least. I'm going to be disappointed if something big doesn't happen.
You're right. You know who's going to show up? Hulk Hogan.
I'm done. If that happens, I'm done.
Wait a minute. You would rather have Goldberg show up than him?
Yes.
Oh, I quit.
Goldberg could still go more than Terry. Terry's got a fake back and fake hips and fake knees.
Yeah, but he has karaoke every Monday night, and he puts a great social media post out.
Yeah, him and his juiced up boy. You can't tell me Nick's not on the gas.
He lifts a lot, okay?
Okay. All right, brother. Now it doesn't work for me, brother. No, I'm not. I will say though, I would if this isn't gonna happen. But if Goldberg was the face Ryback, I'd root for Goldberg.
Well,
I'm not a Ryback fan.
You're talking about Ryback. I mean,
Guy's nuts.
I don't want Ryback either. I don't want Goldberg. I don't want Ryback.
He's pushing it, but he can push all he wants.
Yeah.
But
unfortunately, the squeaky wheel doesn't get the grease in this case.
Yeah. But
I don't care how much money Tony Khan has.
But I hope we do get a big reveal, return, debut, angle to In Collision. I think that'd be good. I miss the cliffhanger endings of professional wrestling. I want more of that. It's what we used to get in the Monday Night Wars all the time.
We did.
Especially WCW, they always like to leave you with a cliffhanger.
Towards the good.
They could.
Yeah.
After 98, everything was done.
Yeah.
Done. Once they ended Goldberg's streak, everything kind of. It was already going bad, but that was kind of the last straw.
Shit Stain was in charge.
Yep.
We don't even want to talk about Shit Stain's name.
No, VR. That's no.
He ruined a lot of stuff.
Yep. I have not caught this week's Dark Side yet.
I started last night, and honestly, I fell asleep, and it's not because the show was bad.
Right.
It's because it was a long day for me. It was really interesting to talk. I watched the first 10 minutes. The Graham family history was interesting to me. I love that kind of stuff. So I got to record it. I will get that watched before next Tuesday's episode, which I'm sure they debuted a little snippet at the end, but I haven't watched it yet, so I don't know what next Tuesday is all about either.
Yeah, let's look it up here. Let's look up Dark Side. Ring season 4.
I know we got some big
season
names.
5. Excuse me, season 5.
I know we got some big names coming up.
Cool, Google. Don't just spin on me. That's cool. Not like I'm trying to look up anything. Oh, no. Season 4. Here we go. Oh, what happened to Doink the Clown? That's the next one.
Now, I remember Doink the Clown a lot. And then there's I think it went viral when YouTube started getting big. There's a YouTube match where Doink the Clown versus Hacksaw Jim Duggan in a independent show in a little high school gym somewhere. And Doink was not ready to work.
That would have been the second Doink because the first one, Matt Bourne. Unless it was Matt Bourne.
That was, whoever it was not ready to work, and it was a shit show, basically, of a match. A lot of screaming and yelling. Didn't want to work.
I don't know what the order is after Doink, but you also got Adrian Adonis, Junkyard Dog, Bam Bam Bigelow, Abdullah the Butcher, WCW Batch of the Beach 2000, and I know the finale is Marty Jannetty.
Who is?
Which the producers of Dark Side Arena said that might have been the craziest one they've ever recorded.
Well, I mean, Marty was nuts.
Still is nuts.
Still is nuts, sorry.
So, but they do a fantastic job with this series. The Territories one, I know you enjoyed that last year. I don't think it hit as much as they were hoping.
Yeah, I mean, Abdullah was still alive.
Mm-hmm.
The Junkyard Dog one interests me a lot because he was like my favorite wrestler back when I was 6 years old, maybe. And I know he was dealing with a lot of racial stuff back then too. So that one really, I can't wait for that episode too. So
I'm looking forward to the Bass at the Beach one, but it's just going to be VR and Eric Bischoff complaining at each other back and forth. So
is that the Bash at the Beach, the one where was it Jarrett and Hogan?
Yeah, Jarrett laid down and Hogan won the title, and then he.
Yeah.
It was. Then Hogan got the lawyers involved eventually. Yeah. Because Bischoff talked about that recently on his 83 Weeks podcast, and the idea was for Hogan to go over, take the title and leave, and then come back months later in October, and kind of refresh but didn't happen.
Yeah.
So yeah, it'll be interesting. But I've been catching up on the A&E WWE programming a lot lately, the biographies and the Lost Treasures or whatever it's called. I watched the NWO biography. We learned some stuff about the NWO I didn't know. So Majin said, man, Junkyard Dog was supposed to be Hogan level, but he had drug problems and injuries that derailed it.
I didn't know about the drug problems. That's something that, I mean, I know he was in the territories. They promoted the heck out of him.
He had great charisma.
Yeah, no, he was amazing. So
But that's probably what will be featured in Dark Side. I'm guessing it's probably drugs, substance.
yeah, they don't always talk about the positive side.
That's true. Very rarely. Very rarely.
So.
Anything else you got tonight, Shep? Before I play a little promo for the FWF show coming up in Rochester, Indiana on Saturday.
Like, here we go. I'm going to use my Hulk Hogan and Nick Hogan hands.
Oh, God.
Here we go, brothers.
Oh, God.
FWF, Rochester, Indiana. Saturday, June 17th, brother. You better be there for FWF Meltdown. That's all I got.
Not bad, not bad. But let's let Ryan Paradise take it away for about 90 seconds here.
The power of Paradise perpetuates as Ryan returns to Rochester. Last year I made a deep first impression, but this June 17th will be an eclipsing crater when I get my hands on Donnie Gunner for the 5th time. We had a bit of a war this year, didn't we, Donald? And I'll admit I got a little carried away at times. But that part's over. This has nothing to do with that. This has nothing at all to do with religious views, or your obsession to play hero, or you just generally being a thorn in my crown. This is business, thus livelihood. Yeah, because it doesn't matter who you worship. Everyone knows that money is God, and championships are money. And you are blocking my ascension to cruiserweight contention. You should know, more than anybody, Gunner, that no matter my motive, I execute. In a meltdown, you will learn that Rochesterians are paradisciples, and that even the cleanest power source can cause devastation.
I would have some different religious views.
Rochesterian. What do you say?
Rochesterians? Yeah.
That's a new one. But Ryan Paradise will be there in action. Meltdown.
And if I could give him a little bit of a rub, even though I'm a little confused by his promo there. I watched him last year at this show, and he probably had the best match out of the show. He's a very athletic, very high flying. I won't call him a luchador, but he's a junior heavyweight, cruiserweight. So very entertaining individual. Maybe needs to work on his Photoshop and background, and some of his. How do you say it? I don't know how you call him his sayings towards where he's coming from, but yeah, no, he's entertaining.
Yep,
he's fun to watch. So, the show is Rochester, Indiana, at the Moose Lodge 1107, June 17th, this Saturday. The weather looks 81 and sunny. yeah. What you just watched, yeah. You can see it in person, big dog. Come out of Canada and then let's party. But yeah, $15 tickets at the door. There's some free tickets available if you're here in local Rochester, Indiana. But yeah, it was last year we had him. It was a great show. I think Paul, or whatever his name is,
Rip Ryerson.
Yeah, I think he went swimming.
He went swimming. We showed it last year on the podcast,
and maybe we'll show it again. But no, it's fun. Come out. It's a family friendly show. Sometimes the wrestling we all watch is not family friendly. but this one is. So, yeah. Again, Moose 1107, Rochester, Indiana. It is the second largest moose in Indiana. So, there you go.
Bring the family out. Enjoy some wrestling. Enjoy some food, some drinks. Have a good time.
We got some food trucks there, some carny trailers. So, yeah. Good time had well. And maybe if he makes fun of Rochesterians, maybe we'll throw Ryan Paradise in the lake.
Maybe he'll go swimming too. But go check out Ryan on his YouTube channel. He's got plenty of stuff there. You can check him out, youtube.com/@RyanParadise. So, well, with that said, we're going to be wrapping up another great episode of the Kicking Out Podcast. Appreciate everybody watching live on the YouTube and on Twitter. Please give us a follow if you haven't already. Our handle on all social media platforms @Kicking Out Pod. And if you're listening on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever you like to listen to your podcast out, please give us that 5-star rating and leave us a review. Let us know what we're doing well, what we can improve on. Appreciate the feedback. I'm Tanner Lee. You can follow me at TannerLee92 on Instagram and Twitter. And he's Austin Shepard. I can't point the right direction. I don't know which way I'm pointing. At the Shep27. And, of course, Paul Zartman, who couldn't be here, who's ducking us, who's scared, at Paul Zartman921. And get some great Kicking Out Podcast merchandise. Support a great podcast. Look great doing show. KickingOutShop.com. He's Austin Shepard. I'm Tanner Lee. Join us again next week as we kick out yet another podcast.